This week on SV Lynx. Welcome to this week's SV Lynx video. Well, in our quest to finish this boat within the next year, we're going to tackle one of the biggest jobs we have left.
Right, but that's not all we're going to do. We're also going to finish up a couple jobs that we've been working on, which are to do with the Salon ceiling and the cupboards in the galley. But then we'll get that big job started. So let's get over the lot and show you what's going on. It's a new week, and this morning we're going to get started by marrying the top and bottom of our first Daggerboard casing. So I'm going to put some epoxy along the edge here on both sides, and then we will screw in the end plate that we prepared already, which I'm putting epoxy onto now. And then we'll go to the other side, do the same thing, and that will create our Daggerboard 1 casing. All right, so we're doing the second casing right now. First one worked fine, and now we'll get number 2. So both of our casings are now sealed up. The next job that we need to do on these casings is to basalt the outside all the way around on both of these, multiple layers. And that's really what the most strength comes from, is the outside of that, because it's like I say, it's like putting steel bands around it. It can't get tweaked out if the outside has got those layers around there. Now, there are 2 layers on the inside as well, but it's the outside that's going to give it the most strength. And then when we cut these off on either end, we will be putting rope into the boat around that gap, and then we'll be glassing from the inside to the hull on there. And then we'll go inside the boat and put a bunch of layers for just this tab part here, not just 2. We're going to really build that up, because this is the most dangerous spot at the bottom down here. This is the part that exits the hull at the bottom, and this is the part that needs to be the strongest, so that if something hits the daggerboard and it goes into this, that this is 20-30 times stronger than the board, and that way it'll snap the board and leave this alone. Next up on the hit parade today is fairing the ceilings. We put a coat of Super Build on here, if you recall, and we've gone with a light and checked now, and there was a bad section right here. All those little blue tape areas are mark a little divot spot we have to fix, but you notice there's no tape over there and nothing over there, and just a little couple spots right there. So really we just have this one bad area that we're going to fix right now, and other than that, the rest of the ceiling is ready for sanding and putting our 442 primer on and then paint. So we're going to fair this right now. Tomorrow it's going to rain all day, so we're not going to work tomorrow. But Wednesday we'll come back and sand these little spots that we did. And while we're fairing, I'm also going to fair all of the tabbing we did back in there right now. So since we're mixing anyway, we might as well do that at the same time. But again, come Wednesday, we'll sand this entire, not just the stuff we fair here, but this entire roof again. Give it another sand. Friday, we'll probably, or Thursday maybe even. Thursday we'll probably, because since we're not working tomorrow, we're going to work Thursday. So we'll paint 442 onto here on Friday, and if all goes well, we'll see. But we may paint our actual paint on here from Alexial. That'll be our first cloud white paint that we're going to use, and other than what we did by the stairway over going up to the helm. But this is the first big job we're going to do with that cloud white, and get paint on here. Now the reason we want to get the paint on here so badly is that I don't want to have to paint this ceiling with all of the furniture in the way. And so remember, the furniture can't be moved in this boat, other than right now this is mobile because we haven't glued it down yet, but it's eventually this is going to be tabbed down and it'll never move again then. So right now we can move it a little bit, but before we build the seating area and the nav station there, I don't want to have to lean over that stuff to do painting. So we're going to get this whole ceiling painted, and then we can build the final table, daybed, and the nav station in here, and then construction in the salon will be complete. This is for the most part. There's some minor little things we'll do. For example, we still have to cut the sink in to the table here, and we still have to build this little low cabinet that we're building that's going to be basically at the level of this right here, and it comes out to about here, and it's just some extra storage that's below the window behind the sink. So we'll build that, but that doesn't have to be built. We could be almost completely finished with this whole salon before we built that. It's a separate unit, probably going to be built out of marine plywood, and so we can build that at any time and just, you know, fix it in there. So that means that we'll have the salon pretty much finished up, and we've pretty much also already finished the cockpit. There's virtually no construction left in the cockpit. It's just fairing, sanding, painting. That's all that's left out there. So that's already all built, and this will all be built. So that'll leave 3 main areas of the boat to work on: the hulls and the front, the bow of the boat. It's a lot of work at the bow, and I figure we're going to spend at least 3 months working on the bow, and we'll spend a couple months each working in the hulls. Even if we spent 3 months each in the hulls, that's still 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got 12, so that leaves us 3 months to just do other sanding, fairing, and painting stuff on the boat. So that's sort of the general overview of where we're going to spend time. Now I hope to get those hulls done faster than 3 months. So we'll see. The problem is that there's a lot of plumbing down there. Not only building all those water, gray water, black water, and fuel tanks, but that's one layer underneath the floor that we got to get done. Then there's all the plumbing that goes on top of that, and then the sole goes in, and then there's the heads and showers and that stuff that goes up above them. So there's quite a bit of construction to go down in those holes. So 3 months is probably probably realistic to get all that done, because it's, like I say, lots of work. But we'll get started on that pretty soon here. This won't take us that long to do the nav station and the seating area. We already laid out the nav station in a previous video, so we know how that goes in, and it's not a ton of pieces. So there might be, I don't know, 10 pieces that make up the nav station, so it's really not that hard. They're already made, so we just have to glue them in and tab them in, so that won't take all that long. The seat's a little bit more work, but it's not as much work as the seating was out in the cockpit, because it doesn't have to have water collection systems, because it's never going to get wet in here. And so for that, seating just goes in, and it just has some hatches cut in the top so we can get to the storage underneath. So that's not terribly difficult to do. So I'm hoping that we can get those things in 2-3 weeks on those, but we'll see. I've been talking here. Why? Because I'm waiting. Brian's mixing up thick and epoxy, and I better get some gloves on. I already cleaned the ceiling. We're ready to go. So I just need to start applying. Getting the rest of these tabs done in here. And this is why we didn't put the face on this thing, because it's really hard to get in here as it is. So we've got the little problem areas filled in now up on the ceiling, and we've got the cupboards faired. It's been a rotten day so far. And what I mean by rotten is it rained yesterday all day, nonstop. And so we didn't work, and we'd covered the boat, but there's just little gaps and things that it gets through. And so we spent probably 3 or 4 hours here just cleaning up water. Down, a lot of it down in the bilges of the boat. We don't have bilge pumps yet, so we're the bilge pumps. And we're just now in the afternoon finally getting to actually get back to work. Such is the joy of building outdoors. Fortunately, we live in Southern California, so we don't get a lot of rain, but when it does rain, it's a pain in the butt. So what I'm doing right now, though, is I need a little more sanding on this, because we faired it, sanded it, just faired some spots on it again that I have to fix right now. Okay. Doing some more test fitting for the ends. Now that these are glued in here, seeing how this stuff is fitting. It's not. Sort of is, but it doesn't look straight to me. Oh, I'm so wrong. It's straight up and down. Perfect. Okay, hold that. Where's the 90-degree? Oh, here it is. Okay. We have success. Hoping that will hold that. Not going to. Okay. Most of that's good. So I have a small issue. This particular shelf is just a little too far out. And we're talking, I don't know, 4 millimeters, 1/8 of an inch. So we're just going to grind that back. That'll let this move back, which is what is the problem. Right now this is tilted out slightly. And there's a gap here. So once we take this one back, that gap will go away, this will straighten up, and we're good. Over here, we've just fixed the lengths were wrong. We just trimmed those correctly. Now this, when it's there, is perfectly vertical. And so that one is good. I don't think I mentioned it before, but if you look over here, you see this piece right here wasn't here when we painted the rest of this. The reason for that is we're building a shelf back here that I forgot to take into account, and on that shelf will sit, sorry about that, almost dropped something, will sit a toaster oven that comes right to this height, and this, we were going to have a door here that swung open, and it would have hit this toaster oven. So we had to bring this up higher. So we just added a piece in there, just faired it in, and now that'll open up. If we want to, we may not even put a door on this one now, because I mean it'll open, but it'll only open to here because of the mullion. So we'll see. We might just leave it open. There's enough of a shelf, a lip here, you know, that the width of this, that it'll keep stuff from sliding out of there. So we'll think about that. We can put a door or not. We'll figure that out. And down here, there's going to never be a door because we have our pots and pans and stuff that come out and things, and the doors wouldn't open. So, but you can reach in and get to stuff here. But it's not going to fall out because it's got a lip and it's level with this. Microwave. This will be a double opening door, and this will be a double opening door. So it's coming along. It's always everything. You think these are simple cupboards, and you would think, well, that'll be easy. But there's always adjustments and fitting the microwave. Oh, and by the way, the microwave, speaking of that, this is a large hole compared to the microwave, but we've left a gap around the microwave and we're going to line that with a tile to protect from heat, because the microwave we're using is not just a microwave, it's also a convection oven. And as a convection oven, it can get warmer than what a microwave would get. And so we had to leave, according to the manufacturer of the microwave, we had to leave a gap around the whole thing, front, back, top, sides. And so we built that cupboard to do that. And like I say, we'll probably line that with a heat tile so that the heat isn't going directly onto this fiberglass. And so that'll make the microwave convection oven work there, because that's one of our two ovens, and that other oven sits, like I say, right here. And we've decided, remember, if you go back in the video, we considered having a pull-out thing, but what we decided to do is just put it here, because the fact is that it's blocking very little of our window area if it's sitting right here. And then we don't have to build mechanisms and all that good stuff. It'll just sit right on the cupboard that we're building below, mount to it so that it can't move, open up right here, and it's just better. And like I say, this tiny little bit of window it's going to block, we're not going to miss at all. We've still got the big windows where it doesn't even get to those, it's way back here. So we'll block that, and then there's a port light that opens right here, so they'll let airflow in from the side in case we have a stern and forward anchor. That's the only time that the wind would be coming from the side of the boat. Otherwise, if you're just on a single anchor, the boat's going to swing into the wind, and the wind's going to come from the front. But if you're ever on a stern and front anchor, and there are circumstances where you need to do that, sometimes the wind can be coming from the side, so we've got this here. But this oven won't block opening the hatch that goes right here. There's one on the opposite side as well, so that there's airflow through if we ever have that situation. All right, well, we're going to wrap it up for today. This is all we really got done because the rest of the day was cleaning up from the massive rain yesterday. But there's no more rain in the forecast for a foreseeable future, and So we should be able to get back to serious work tomorrow. This morning, we're going to sand that. Remember, we did some fairing in certain spots, but we also just need to sand the entire thing to get ready for paint. So this is the last really difficult sanding job on this ceiling now. After we put the 442 coats on, we'll give it a light sanding after that, but that's much easier. So this is our last time we have to seriously sand this thing before we get to paint. All right, well, we got two compressors and two pneumatics now, and so Brian and I can both get to go to town on this. As I mentioned, we put a coat of our Super Build primer on here so that it would show up any small spots. And as you can see by all these little blue markers here, these are all the tiny spots that still need something. And, you know, like, I don't know if you can see it, but like right there is a tiny little spot. And or here. So little tiny ones that we're going to fix with one more round of fairing. It won't take much to fill these. These are tiny little spots, and but they show up now that we put a coat of primer on here. And over here, all of this, we can't find anything that needs it. And that back section all over there is all pretty much perfect, but this was a problem area, obviously. So tomorrow we'll mix up some thickened epoxy and fix all of these so that we can be finished with this soon. Good morning. It's Friday. We got Brendan helping us today and tomorrow. And tomorrow. So that's right. We're going to fix all these little tiny divots in here right now. We've already cleaned it all. So now it's just a matter of some very tiny fixes that we're going to do. All right, I think that's all the blue tape. Now, everybody go look. Your last chance to find something. Okay, so our final round of fairing is spot fixes is in. So now we can just let this set up, and then tomorrow we'll give this whole thing a sand, and we're ready to move on to finish primer and paint. It's finally time to start working in the nasty bilge. And it's nasty right now because it's been neglected, meaning we're building outdoors and dust from work, whether it's sanding or just dust from the air, gets in and gets dirt on here, and then it rains, the water gets in here, and then it gets the dust into a layer that's attached to it, and it's just been getting worse and worse. So after a year of sitting here, basically, because we've been working on other stuff, it's time for us to clean these bilges and start building our diesel gray water and black water tanks into all of this. And I want to get this done rapidly, meaning in a shorter time than I have scheduled for it. So today we're going to try to glass in 4 diesel tanks, and this will just be the base. We're not going to do the lids today, but the base of them glassed in. And I say glass, but we're going to probably use Basalt on here. And so that's the goal. So the first thing I do is yesterday, I didn't show this, but yesterday I scrubbed them with soap water and a stiff brush, and scrubbed and got all the surface dirt I could get off. Today I'm going to take some acetone, which we don't normally use. We usually use alcohol, but I want to really cut through anything left. And so I'm going to use some acetone here and really clean these before we try to bond that basalt on later today.
So we're starting with 4 of the 6 diesel tanks, the ones that are more forward. We'll do the ones that are more centered in the boat later on. And the first thing we need to do is get these things prepped. And now we're giving them a sand so that we can get the surface ready for bonding to our basalt. Now we decided to put a layer of basalt in here because we just want these things to be even tougher than they are already. There's glass down here sealing the bottom of the boat, but we want another layer of even more durable material. So we're going to line the tanks with basalt.
Get this stuck about there.
Okay, we got our basalt in here, and it's very saturated. I wanted it to make sure it had a really good seal there, so lots of epoxy on that. I don't care if it's a little extra, that's fine. Now we're going to put the peel ply on it.
We got second one in here. This is over in the starboard side. We started with the port. And this one went, of course, much smoother because we've done it once already. Practice makes perfect, you know. Just got to get the end caps on. Once this is set up tomorrow, I'll be able to stand on that side. And we'll do it before I pull the peel ply. So leave the peel ply in there. We can stand on it and do this side and go over on the port side and do the other side of it as well. And that will have the lower section of basalt laid in for these tanks. Now, we're not done because we're going to have to put a layer of super build on top of it, then sand it all, and then put on a special paint for diesel fuel. So we do that on the inside. Then we'll have to prepare the top. That's the next thing. And so we're going to have to create some little L-shaped brackets that we're going to glue on here, because this is the top of the tank is going to be down here. And that leaves a gap between the sole and the top of the tank because there's plumbing. And then the sole, like I say, will have a hatch cut into it so you can open that up and get to the plumbing. We're finally sanding the final little fixes up on the Salon, and once that sanding job is done, we'll be painting our 442 primer. We're just sanding this last section right here. All the rest of it's done. And then we can get to painting this. So I've got Brent here helping, and we're doing some tag teaming again. Because holding your hands up here like this only lasts so long before you start feeling like lead. So we're tag teaming a bit here, and we'll go until we get it. And if we get tired, we'll make Brian do something. Sorry about the loud compressor noise. Brent and Brian are still up there sanding the ceiling. I just want to show you that we've finished up the second diesel tank over here as far as putting the basalt in. And we did that on this side. And over here. So that gets us 4 of our diesel tanks. We have 6. The other one is way back over here, but we'll get to that another day. Now these, next thing we're going to do on these is put baffles in here. There's a couple baffles that go in the center here, so we're going to put those in, and we'll just basically tab those into the other basalt there. They're not the tank itself, they're just a baffle inside the tank. So we can put that in whenever we want and just bond to the basalt that's already there. So the way these tanks are going to work is, step down here. There's going to be a port here that has all the plumbing, and it sits down below this level here. And then there's a floor on top of that. But down below, we open a hatch up and we can get to the plumbing that's in here. And so that will go down and pull the fuel up from the bottom right here. This is actually not a separate tank. There's a hole through at the corner. And so this is one tank. And this is just a side baffle. And they'll have cross baffles there. So there's 4 compartments of one tank here. And where these baffles cross right here, we're going to be cutting out a section and put an inspection port here. It's not the plumbing port, that's over here, but an inspection port. That way, without undoing the plumbing, we can unscrew this inspection port and get a look down into all 4 compartments in here in case we want to see if there's any diesel bug or sludge or whatever we might have in there. And that's where we would use a vacuum to clean any one of those 4 out as well. So next up we'll be putting in the baffles, cutting out that little section there, and then we're going to put the mounts for the top of the tank in. Remember, this is the sole support, not the tanks. The tank levels below this basalt here. So we'll be putting in those supports soon and move these things along. We did it. We got this whole thing sanded finally, and that would be Brent. Say hi, Brent.
Hey there.
You didn't say hi, Brent.
Hi, Brent.
Why do I say hi, Brent? And Brian. So all 3 of us. Hi, Brent. Anyway, we tag teamed this all, so we're ready to go. We're not going to paint it today, but it's ready for the next primer on all of this. Now, if you'll notice, before anybody complains about this, that this beam is rough. That's because, that's what I was telling Brent, think of that as the attic. You're never going to see it because there's a wood beam that goes on down and across through here that holds all the wiring and all the lighting and all that stuff. And this is just a support beam for the ceiling, but it'll never be seen. So it's completely covered. So we don't need to polish that to a fair amount. Well, the rest of the ceiling will be seen, so we have to do that. Same thing though along the top upper edge up there. The very corner of that is all going to be hidden behind a valance that goes across around there. So that only takes a certain amount of sanding as well. So we want to spend the least amount of time sanding as possible, and so we're going to only concentrate on areas that you really can see, and anything that's been totally hidden away, don't care. We're going in the face of our cupboard. So let's get it in here. So we're gonna, I think we're gonna do this. Oh, wow, look at all that squeeze out. You better get a cup.
Oh, wow. You got that.
Or a paper towel do. I'm gonna save this though. We'll fill the rest later, but if you've got excess epoxy, might as well shove it in there now.
Get the black spatula.
Yep. Here it is. It's got a little bit of epoxy on it. We've got our cupboard face glued in there now. This little brick contraption is holding that one against there. The rest of it's sitting just fine. So we'll get that all set up and get back to it, the next phase of it on Monday. So that concludes Saturday. Say goodbye.
Bye.
You know, our goal of this weekend was to finish up the 2 diesel tank basalt layers and get that face glued in and get the ceiling completely sanded and they're ready for paint. We got all of that done, so it was a productive day.
So as you can see, that big job that we started was getting the tanks done in the hulls, meaning the gray water, the black water, and the diesel tanks. We've still got a bit to go, but we got it started.
Right, we want to move along as fast as we can on that. I scheduled a certain amount of time for that, but I want to do it in much shorter. So that just means we're going to have to work hard and get that done. A lot of steps to go though, with the next part going to be getting the rest of the tanks basalted in, and then we got to work on the lids, and then we got to work on the plumbing above them, and then we work on the sole with all the hatches, so you can see this. Layers to go next week, and we'll get at least some of that done next week. And I'd like to thank Brent for stopping by and working a couple days with us this last week. It's very helpful. And we're hoping to get, again, I mentioned this, but we're going to get some more workers in. I asked Brent to put more time in, and he said he's willing. And I just talked to my cousin Carl, and he says he's going to get a bunch of days put in, and we're going to talk to the rest of the crew who's helped in the past. And over the next year, we really want to get this boat done, and that's going to take their help. So if you've been one of our crew and you have worked on the boat, we're sending out the signal. The smoke signals are up. We need your help. And if you can find some days here and there, that would really help us, because we think we can make it. And so far, with these tanks moving along quickly, it's just giving us more confidence that we're going to get there. And thank you guys all for watching. We do appreciate you stopping by. And we hope you'll continue to watch the making of SV Lynx, and then eventually as we take this big boat out and learn to sail it, because again, as I mentioned last week, we've never sailed a large catamaran before, so this will be just like building it. It was a new experience. Sailing it will be one as well.
So thank you all again, and thank you to our patrons listed here. We appreciate you. We couldn't do it without you. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and click on the bell icon to be notified of our next video.
And we will get back to work on those hulls and what goes inside them. See you there next week.
Bye.
Bye.